July 2000, the day of the crash of Flight Air France Flight 4590, the fastest airline airplane ever created in aviation history.
I'm talking about the Concorde, the fastest jet in the sky.
Well, the sad part is that this crash ruined Concorde's success. The crash of Air France Flight 4590. You are watching Ram's Domain. Alright, so the story begins while the jet airliner was taxiing to the runway. The flight was going from Charles de Gaulle to JFK Airport, and you won't believe that the fast jet airliner has already used almost so much fuel that an average car uses in 6 months. The Concorde just used so much fuel in 6 minutes. The airliner was ready for takeoff and started increasing power. The plane was increasing in speed. Moments later, the plane was so fast that the plane couldn't abort the takeoff. After that, the plane took off, but all of a sudden, engine 2 was in flames and was engulfed in flames and was banking left. The captain, Captain Christian Marty, age 53, first officer, Jean Marcotte, age 50, and flight engineer, Gilles Jardinaud, age 58, were controlling the supersonic jet airliner. Air traffic controller Gilles Logelin noticed the flames before the Concorde was airborne and informed the flight crew. The plane did not gain enough airspeed with the 3 remaining engines as damage to the landing gear bay door prevented the retraction of the undercarriage. The aircraft was unable to climb or accelerate, and its speed decayed during the course of its brief flight. Here was the last moment said on the flight. There was no flight recorder available. Co-pilot, Le Bourget. Pilot, too late. Control tower, fire service leader, correction. The Concorde is returning to runway 09 in the opposite direction. Pilot, no time, no. Co-pilot, negative, we're trying Le Bourget. Co-pilot, no. And seconds later, the aircraft crashed. The crash killed 106 occupants and 4 crew members. The investigation soon began and found pieces of metal and rubber on the runway as well as huge burn spots on the runway and adjacent grass. Let's go back to upon it 5 minutes before the Concorde burst into flames. At that time, Continental airliners, McDonnell Douglas DC-10 departed from runway 26 right when it lifted of the ground. It dropped a small metal strip from one of the engines. The strip was 43 centimeters long and 3 centimeters wide and came from a thrust lever door. At this time, the Concorde was getting ready for departure, its tanks filled almost to full capacity. At 14:42 and 31 seconds, the Concorde's captain commenced the takeoff with a slight tailwind. The 4 massive engines pulled up and the afterburners ignited. 23 seconds later, the takeoff roll, meaning plane reached the speed of 100 knots, meaning V1. 32 seconds into the takeoff roll, the plane reached V1. Now it's too late to go around. V1 sign. That day, this speed was 150 knots. The plane would need to further accelerate to 198 knots to lift off from the runway. 38 seconds into the takeoff, the Concorde ran over the metal strip dropped by the DC-10 that took off 5 minutes before the Concorde. At an estimated speed of 140 meters per hour towards the wing of the plane. When it struck the wing, it did not punch a hole in it but sent shock waves through the fuel tank. With the tanks almost at full capacity, the shock wave had nowhere to go since fluids are not compressible. The tank then ruptured at its weakest link on the rear underside of the aircraft. Due to that, the plane burst into flames, and the bank angle was due to the weight of the aircraft going to the side of the bank.